Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa. Today is Friday, so you guys know what that means. It is happy hour. My buddy Westwood's on the other side of this. There's so much going on, so much other than the Captain Obvious thing going on. So we'll touch on that, but we've got so much more information to bring you. So give us a like, share this video, and let's see what's going on right after this.
Are you buying and selling cryptos on the same laptop that you're using to browse the internet, read your email, and visit social media sites? If so, you're exposing your cryptos to theft. Whenever you're online, you're at risk of getting hacked and having your identity stolen. How would you feel if someone stole all of your cryptos? What would that do to your finances? Guard your cryptos with a safe and secure laptop from Calyx Solutions. Each laptop is set up just for you and your cryptos, and then we walk you through exactly how it works. Don't risk the security of your cryptos. Order a crypto laptop from Calyx Solutions now to secure your crypto future. Learn more at calyxsolutions.io.
I was reading the chat. I'm sorry. Happy Friday.
Is there anybody out there?
I'm like, oh my gosh, look, everybody's been in here a while. I was trying to catch up reading the chat. I'm sorry. Thanks to everybody in the live chat. Thanks for jumping in, joining us, and talking amongst yourselves while you're waiting for us.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I love it. I love it. Thanks, guys. It is Friday, so thanks. I hope everybody's got a red cup, wearing something red, and thinking of wearing red for everyone deployed. Thinking of, yes, that works too. Yeah. It's the thought that counts.
I do a lot of thinking.
A lot of thinking. Oh, wow. Some good stuff going on. Lots of wild stuff. Our power went out earlier. You've got storms all around.
Tornadoes 10 miles away.
They had, yeah, I have a great graphic for that. I'll scroll.
It's got Westwood riding a tornado. Giddy up.
On the scooter.
Yes, on the scooter, the Digi scooter. I priced some scooters today because I was out looking, hey, what kind of assets do I want to get? I'm thinking something that's got like over 100 miles to the gallon, so I can get where I need to go on back roads and stuff. So I'm looking at like scooters. My God, the price of these things have gone up so much. Can you get them? Oh, they're ridiculously expensive for these little things. Really? Everything's, they're high. So I got gold, baby.
That would be
the
so
scooter's gold.
Dangerous to ride out there by where you are.
Well, here's the thing with that. It's a 49cc scooter, so I don't have to license it. I don't have to have any kind of license permit or anything, so I can ride it anywhere I want on the road legally without a plate.
Really?
Since it's under 50 cc's, I'm good to go.
I didn't know that was a thing.
It's a thing, even in Illinois.
That's for so I started reading after Tuesday's show with Sean, and after my last weekend, trying to learn some more about, the
straight and narrow.
The straight and narrow after my study with Fruit from Poisonous Tree. There is, and you know what? Okay, the other
chicken butt.
I know all this stuff is like colliding, which is really kind of cool. You know how I've been saying, like, take personal responsibility. It's all about personal responsibility for our health, wealth, finances, and our personal safety. And then I was reading in Bix's book where he talks to God on the private road. Or I don't know if it's on the private road or just on his regular. I don't know. I downloaded it.
Conversations with God is the title.
Conversations with God is the yes.
And this is before he got enlightened. I mean, it was already spilling out of him like Cliff's Truth, language spilling out. And he wrote this before he had his more awakening time.
Yeah. But he's talking about like God talking about, getting to the point after the banks crash and like money's not a thing and all that. Kind of the point of it is our food is like, people think this is all about money, but it's really about taking responsibility for yourself. And I was saying that with, everybody wants to blame Trump for, well, they want to blame somebody, not just Trump. Everybody
right.
wants
We need an enemy. We need an
for
enemy.
everything. Right. There was a meme I saw today that said, if you put red and black ants in a jar, they will just totally ignore each other until somebody shakes the jar. And then they go after each other instead of going after the jackwagon that shook the jar. Yeah. And I thought about where America is right now, where the world is right now, that, we're getting distracted by all these things and not really paying attention to who the enemy is, because it's just all this noise. And so you just turn around and poke, oh, well, he bumped into me, or he's, the person next to me. And we're all in the jar together. And I think that's
in the bell jar.
Yeah. Yes. In the bell canning jar. But I think that's kind of the thing. And when we get past the lie that money is, and we understand about taking care of what that means, when you get down to what are the basic survival, food, shelter, I can't remember who's
food, shelter, and water. And then you got a little safety and security and, all the things bleed out from there. But yeah, the basics, you get survival like an animal, living, staying alive.
And then being able to trade and barter to get those basic things. And community is one of those things that really is stronger than in Bix's story. It's stronger than a weapon even.
It is the force. That is the force, the weapon. You think about it, you didn't need money when you had community. Go back, way back. You had community first, and you didn't need money because you all provided with your skills to go out and kill the animal, skin the animal, prepare the animal, and build the shelters and all your basic needs. The community, when you had a community, not when you're homesteading in Oklahoma, because then you're on your own, but when you had community, that's what happened. You think back into the past, and they'd migrate to the next food source, and they'd all bring everything, all their tools, themselves and weapons and whatever they needed to survive. They didn't need money. They just needed each other to do certain things. So there was a responsibility there. It's like, okay, you need to do this, and kids, you need to do this. You go clean this up and pick these bones up and whatever, and make them into, sharp things and whatever. And so the community did all that. There's no need for money. Didn't need it. Because you just needed to survive and find the things and work together to get those things, put them all together and survive. And through that community with strength, if you're attacked, it's like, all right, it's on, we're going to do what we got to do. Mm-hmm. So, but money came later when, oh, shoot, we got spices and sugar over here. Cool. What can we get it? How do we get it? And furs. Okay. And you're going to give me smokes for furs. Cool. I'll take some smokes, and whatever, and trade and barter and then land.
So
we'll take
can you
land
trade and barter and still live in a world with, I'm thinking of the world
the internet
previously was, well, that too, but the world you were describing previously is a world of equity where, or common law, where everyone's contributing to the best of their ability.
Yeah, you can't put each other in line. You might have a chief or something, or a council.
And people are contributing, but if people also don't go without in the community if they're contributing, because there is that accountability. People know what's going on in each other's families. They can help out, or somebody that has, but that sounds a little socialist.
Well, it kind of does, but it's just labels, how you define it. In the Bible, I think the apostles, I guess it was, after Christ died, they go in the book of Acts, I think it is, they go out and it was like a communist thing. Hey, we're all going to get together and do this. And you try, but it failed. And so it always kind of fails. But as a community, though, when you're responsible to each other, it's almost like a big family where you're responsible for each other. And it's like, hey, this guy dies, that's one less person that's going to be able to help. So we got to make sure that he's okay or she's okay. And if they're not pulling their weight, the community's like, hey, we're all working here, so it was kind of like there was that social pressure of everybody's got to contribute here or nobody's going to eat because you got a job, we got these things to do. And I'm talking way back though, before we had cities and all that. It's like, think tribes, that kind of thing. Everybody's got to contribute, and the community puts pressure to, if you're not performing, it's like, you're not going to get a handout, bro. You're going to get scraps if there's anything left, if you're not participating in this. So you learn real quick, you either participate or you're going to starve to death, because you got to do something. But the thing is, the elders, you get old enough and you can't do anything, your body's broken down, but there's wisdom there. So they have the wisdom to offer. And so everybody's got something to offer. And everybody's got something to offer now. It's just that sometimes we're encouraged not to even offer it through incentives from the government, through, manipulation, and through the economic systems that these vampires create. But ultimately, it's the community. If you've got a good community and you can survive and build the things together that you need and get the food that you need, then you really don't need money, do you? It's all about the survival of the community. It's the ants. Ants don't need money.
Yeah, because you're thinking you're storing up.
Yeah, we gotta
store
save
up
ourselves
for the winter, though, right? I mean, if you watch the Disney movies, they store it up.
But you have to survive, and so you work together, and you can do whatever you need to do together. But then you get back to, okay, if there's an external force that you don't understand that rocks your world and starts doing things to you that you don't understand, well, you get like, and you start freaking out, and the adrenaline and the hormones and all that stuff kicks in, and then you're mad at everything. Everything's trying to kill me. You're trying to kill me. You're trying to kill me. When that's not really them, it's them up here pulling strings and shaking the system,
Yeah, and we talked about that on Monday in our we're starting a new book discussion for Mighty Sirens. This is called Becoming Supernatural. It's by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and talks about how your body feeds itself chemicals from those stress response or a happy, loving response, and you get addicted to those either in a happy, loving response, or a fear response. And we know that they have been trying to get us in these fear cycles, and how that affects your body and your chemical makeup, and then it ends up with health issues and all that kind of stuff. It's not good for you. So
relax. You got
something
chill,
cool.
bro.
You guys can join us on the Team Mighty Telegram, and from there you'll find the Mighty. It should be pinned in the Telegram group there to join the Mighty book discussion there. So it should be good stuff. So lots of, so much is just tying together. All of that stuff. And I'm seeing umbrellas everywhere, which then I was at
That's what you're seeing, umbrellas? Okay. I'm having a lot of synchronicities this week.
Everywhere.
Different things, words, language occurring simultaneously. A lot of things tells me I'm on the right track and path. So,
okay.
Listening to myself, listening to the voices.
Well,
the state.
Snippy had another dream about.
It was an awesome dream.
He was singing in it, yes. He did a little video today about being at the bank and people maybe breaking in or violating people's safe deposit boxes, which was really creepy and concerning. And he brought up Cliff High's old data about police having to, or guards, I don't know if they were National Guard or police, I don't remember the exact data, but having to be at the grocery stores and stuff, because people were going to be, struggling for food, whatever. But he brought up $50 specifically when he was at the bank, 50. And that 50 is in Bix's book.
Synchronicities, no coincidences.
Yeah. And I was reading it today and I was like, okay, really? It says,
there we go.
Like a 1 to 50 thing. Yeah. Anyway, so everybody should go read that and take away from it what they want.
Yeah, don't discount those things, because I've had it happen to me many times this week, and I'm just like, ooh, whoa, okay. Things just tying together. I'm like, okay, I can't get into that one. There's certain things I can't say.
Well, the umbrella thing. So there's a guy that I am for I am. You guys see him in the chat sometimes here. Really brilliant guy. He's come up with a white paper for making sure that lobbyist money goes to the community and not just straight and holding our representatives accountable to the people. And he's got this really great idea, cool white paper. And then I've seen like Q's umbrella policy. I've seen, and that I've seen for a while now, but then I go to the co-op, and so anytime I have paper grocery bags from the grocery store, we save them up, and then I take them to the co-op so that they can reuse them, share them in the community. So we were dropping paper bags off at the co-op, and I go to pull in, and I tweeted it out, and I'm like, are you serious? It says Psalm 91, and there's an American flag, American war flag, and a umbrella. And I was like, another
immediately
umbrella.
I went in and got a Mai Tai. I don't know why.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I don't know why you would say that, but
well,
anyway.
Umbrella, Mai Tai.
Oh, okay. So then I look up Psalm 91. And Psalm 91 is 91:4 is the verse that, and basically it's kind of the same verse over and over. 91, the different, but basically it's the one that I have on this beautiful little thing in my bedroom that I got when I was going through my divorce. And it says like, he covers you in his feathers. I'm a terrible Bible quoter.
Which verse? I can read it if you want.
It's 91:4.
Oh,
Psalm
okay.
91:4.
Yeah, he will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge.
Yes.
His faithfulness will be your shield and your rampart.
Yeah. So it was just really cool. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that being part of the umbrella thing.
Well, covering you from the rain. It's raining outside right now here.
Oh, okay. So you've got the rain. We've had like terrible winds and the power went out earlier, which then of course makes Cannon
storm is upon you. It's upon us, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So in Trump's, not his last speech, actually it's been a while now. Probably not the rally in Waco, but the one before that, maybe in Iowa. Was it Iowa?
It might have been.
He said,
was it Des Moines?
He kept saying, April Fool's Day, April Fools. He said that like, I don't even know how many times, which is tomorrow.
Everything he says for a reason, and he repeats it. He wants to make sure everybody gets it. You know, it's like, oh, you already said that, Trump. And it's like, well, he's saying it for a reason many times.
And some people are just now listening. This may be their first time listening to him.
So you got to keep saying it. It's like when I make my videos, I say the same thing over and over, just in a different way, a different background.
We still listen. Yeah. I saw you today with your birthday shirt on.
Yes, I've got it on right now. Birthday, not my birthday suit. That's underneath. This is the birthday shirt.
Very nice.
Welcome. And some angel sent that to me, and it just happened to show up on my birthday. Crazy. Got lost.
I know, but I ordered it super early. I thought it was fun. Oh, I also had one of those synchronicities. You know how you had that, and you did a video about like I was worried about it, and then I let it go, and then the day that you like, hey, this should have been here, was the day that something showed up.
It came that day.
What was my synchronicity with that? Darn it! I had the same thing happen. What was it? What was it? I don't remember the specifics now, but I started talking about it on one of the shows this week, and I was like, who was it talking about that? And it was you. I was like, oh, that was Westwood's video. Okay. So yeah, some wild stuff. I do want to jump into some of the news. There are like a lot of exchanges or dumping, trying to get away from USD and USDT, or not USDT. I apologize. USD.
Yeah. The dollar.
The dollar. Yes.
That thing.
That Dirty
USDT
fiat.
might be safer than the dollar at this point. I don't know.
That's so scary to think about.
It is. The irony.
Mm-hmm. Let me see here. Kind of jump in here and then I'll scroll back and then we can roll through some of this stuff. There was my aunt's thing. Beatles Idiocracy thing. U.S. Space Force has proposed that the Pentagon explore Bitcoin mining as a potential solution to their defense strategy needs.
They're already doing it. They're just announcing it.
I know, but they're telling us about it.
I know, finally. And it's like, hey, all you people that missed out on the first 19 million Bitcoin, there's only 2 million left, and we might start mining it now. You might want to take a look at it now that we have it all, now that we own Satoshi's wallet and took all of it from all the exchanges that collapsed.
So right before what I think is a big distraction, the indictment, which is kind of like a big name calling session from what I've looked into it.
You're worse than I am. No, you are.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be significant in his life. But anyway, Trump told citizens to drop down and pray over nuclear fears.
He's been saying that a lot.
Yeah.
Because I think, well, go ahead. What's your thought on that?
Well, I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to put a bunch of energy into stuff that I think is a distraction.
I know.
So one of my friends said gave me a really great example of some really great wisdom. And I've had this in the past, I'm worried about like where I see something and I'm like, but am I distracting from what the plan is, where people need to have their own journey to find the truth or whatever. And there's a movie called The Postman.
Yes.
Kevin Costner's in it. Yep. I've never seen it. He told me I need
He's
to
in
go
a few
see
apocalyptic movies. I mean,
yeah, it's like an apocalyptic kind of time. And apparently like this guy, Kevin Costner, finds like a dead guy with a postal outfit on, and he's trying to get into this town that's like a sock, I guess, and they're all trying to stay protected. And so he puts on the postal uniform and has the bag, and that's how he kind of wins them over. It's a lie. It's a complete lie. But he says, oh no, there's other towns, and we're trying to reestablish through the Postal Service, reconnect to the United States, and this is how we're going to rebuild the United States. It's through the post office, which may end up happening in another way. But he's a little foreshadowing of what might happen. Remember, they were our banks originally, but he said, he goes, so this thing that we're looking at, it tells some of the truth, but there are some things that aren't exactly right. And he's like, but it's doing some good stuff. So if you call out the stuff that you think isn't true, are you then distracting people from the education, the pieces that they are getting, the good work that is going on? Because in the end of the Postman movie, because of the lie that he started, the United States does come back together, and it inspires people, gives them hope.
Like a self-fulfilling prophecy at that
point.
Like
a self-fulfilling prophecy.
You give them hope to where that's all people need. They just need hope that they can make a difference. They're like, well, yeah, it's happening. So, okay, I'll be a part of it and I'll do what I have to do rather than just wither away and die here in this self-organizing collective behind a wall. No, okay, we can put things back together. I have hope that we can do that. And ultimately it comes down to the people just doing that, having inspiration and hope, because the people are the ultimate source of power. And he ended up being a heroic character because of that, maybe. Not knowing
so I'm hoping to watch that this weekend, maybe tonight, depending on. I did have a vote from my patrons. I'm going to share this tab instead. And they voted, 67% voted for me to stream Spaces onto Patreon.
Okay.
So when we do Spaces tonight,
we're doing Spaces tonight. All right.
We're going to do Spaces tonight, and I'm going to be streaming for my $20 or more patrons.
Yeah. Cool.
So they'll be able to listen, and I'll be watching their comments on it.
Oh, cool.
They can comment, and then I can their comment or something.
Very nice.
On Patreon. And that way they can, because some of them don't have Twitter and aren't interested in getting Twitter, but they want to kind of check it out or hear what's going on.
Sure, absolutely. No, we can do that.
I want to honor what they
absolutely
want, add some value to the community.
All about spreading the message. Yep.
Yeah.
Building that community.
So this was interesting. I like following some of these bots, Illuminati bot.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty good one to follow.
No physician delivers a baby. Only a doctor does.
This is some of the stuff from Fruit from the Poisonous Tree. Some of the education about how the system has been gamed or played against
hijacked.
Yeah. So let me know if you guys can hear this. Hopefully you can hear us.
No physician delivers a baby. Only a doctor does. Doctor is doc tender. The baby is a
vessel.
That's where the all caps name comes in. If you look at the names, the chips are in all capital letters. Okay. No one disclosed the terms and conditions of the contract, yet you were handed a stack of papers to fill out, and you were only told, and this is right out of the nurse's manual, this is just to register your baby with the state and to give it a name. And you fill out the paperwork, and you name your baby, and you sign as an informant. What is the legal definition of the word informant? Someone who gives someone else up to another, thereby giving the title and equity of your child to the state. This creates a doctrine called parens patriae. Guess I should write that.
That's why learning Latin at homeschool is important.
It's Latin for state is your parent. State is the parent. Creates the doctrine of parens patriae. Through this doctrine, that's how they have control over you. And through your consent of being a citizen, a person, a resident. 3 things you never want to be. I hope the chair's not too comfortable. I don't want to see you doing that now. All right, I'll throw something at you. Anyway, the doctrine of parens patriae. So, no terms and conditions of the sales contract were given. No full and honest disclosure of the contract. No 2 wedding signatures. No one there was securities licensed, insurance licensed. No prospectus was given. If you go to your stockbroker and you want to invest in a corporation, he is required by law to give you a prospectus, right?
Anyway, that's just one of the, just one point.
Essentially, we've been deceived into participating in a system we didn't create, we did not bargain for, we're not educated about, weren't told about. And that's why I boil it down to this simple phrase. It's a vampire casino, because that's really what it is. They're deceiving you. What's a vampire do? It deceives you, lures you in, doesn't tell you that, oh, this is how it's going to be. Oh, yeah, you know, and all they want to do is just take your energy away. We're dealing with vampires. That's who runs the system. I don't care who you align with. It doesn't matter. The system is the issue. It is a big vampire casino, and they're all there working for it. They want you sitting at the table. They want you playing with the artificial chips that they create. And the only way to get out of that whole system is to not sit down at it. Or if you've been sitting there, just get up and leave. Cash out if you can, but if not, who cares? Get out, because you can walk out. You can walk out at any point if you really want to do that. You don't participate. You don't check boxes anymore. You don't volunteer in. You just walk away. And we've got the opportunity to do that. We're probably going to be forced to stay in the casino or leave the casino very soon, given what's happening, because there are a lot of things happening if you're not paying attention. You know, you look at the BRICS nations right now, they've opted out of the vampire casino. They may be forming their own casino, but they are saying, we don't like this Western money anymore. You know, we're going to produce our own things over here and pay in our own poker chips. We're not going to participate in this anymore. And that's what you're seeing. You saw France purchased from the United Arab Emirates, UAE. What was it, 65 or 650,000 gallons of or liquid natural gas.
I missed that one.
Paid in yuan, paid in Chinese yuan for it. France did.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see Saudi Arabia,
I was
the
seeing
linchpin
Saudi
of the
Arabia.
petro standard,
Right.
the dollar standard. You know, they are dealing with China and building one of the largest refineries known to exist in China to process Saudi Arabian oil. And they're going to use the yuan, or maybe gold, maybe Bitcoin, maybe something else, but it's not going to be the dollar.
Not the US dollar. They said not the
Correct.
petrodollar.
Right. Because all that's done is enslave. It's been an empire. It's like the Roman Empire had its forces all over the place, and you're going to use our money, and that's going to artificially prop up the money. Well, guess what? Not anymore. These countries are saying enough. You're not going to control us anymore. They don't care. They're done. They're done. I mean, I'm telling you, they're done. They're not going to do it.
And this does also affect crypto markets because exchanges like Bittrex and this CEXIO are making announcements. They're getting rid of their USD. They're making announcements like I think Bittrex said by the end of
April 30th. April 30th. You got a month.
Yeah.
Got a month.
That was one
of those. These dates are important because, I mean, I talked about it before. There's this sacrifice period that comes up leading up to May 1st, to where a lot of things happen, a lot of things get taken down, a lot of buildings blow up, a lot of things happen during this sacrifice period. It's a purging period almost and a rebirth. And then you got the May 1st thing. So by May 1st, things are going to change a lot. It's already
we'll see the
done.
Controlled demolition of the Capitol by then.
I don't know, but something. Don't have your money in the banks at this
crazy
point.
So here's another big news story. The Senate votes to end COVID national emergency, sending bill to Biden. I believe he signed this, and they originally were going to end it on March 29th, and now they're saying it's going to happen, or March 11th. Wait, no, I'm sorry. The dates are wrong. How did I had it pulled up. Hold on. Let me change my screen. Okay. Senate votes to end national emergency, sending bill. So this was the 31st updated. They updated it. So they passed a resolution on the 29th. Now goes to the former vice president. And then it was originally supposed to end on May 11th. However, this bill will terminate the national emergency a month earlier. So that means April 11th.
Easter is what, the 9th?
I believe so.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. And Daddy O will chime in on this, but I mean, and you know about this, the actual calendar, tomorrow's the beginning of the year, according to some calendars, right? Biblically, I think.
Yes.
So this is like New Year's Eve, baby. Let's party.
Yeah.
Party like it's, I don't know what year at this point.
Like it's April Fool's Day.
Yeah. And there's probably no coincidences that it's named April Fool's Day, because if that's the real first of the year, it's really an April Fool's joke. It's a fool's joke. They're fooling you.
Well, speaking of fooling you, here's the other big manipulation that's been going on. So, we reported that some of the Silk Road Bitcoin had been moved on to Coinbase a couple weeks ago or so.
A few weeks ago. Yeah. Right before
they knew,
right during the FTX, or not FTX, the SVB collapse.
Yeah.
SVB. Yeah. Sorry.
SVB. Right.
Virus in the system.
They knew it was going to happen, and they knew people were going to run to Bitcoin, but they didn't want. So when Bitcoin ran up in 2017, it caused a big noise. It was right around Thanksgiving and Christmas, and everybody went home and everybody was talking about it. Family, friends, community was sharing information out, and mainstream media lost control of the narrative, and they didn't like it. So what they've done this time is they front loaded and dumped a bunch of Bitcoin onto Coinbase. And in spite of that, they have sold, what does that say? 9,861 Bitcoin on March 14th. That's a lot of freaking Bitcoin. And in spite of that, Bitcoin's almost 30 grand.
Still going up.
Bitcoin has still gone up in spite of them selling that much of Silk Road Bitcoin.
Yep.
They still have another 41,490 Bitcoin.
They got a few 22 bullets left that they're going to fire out there and try and plink something.
And they're planning. Yeah. So they know they're sandbagging because they know there's more to come.
Yep.
So
they got to hold it back as long as they can.
Remember that, like Vic says, the markets are manipulated, but what you have at the end of this game, what you have in your possession is what matters.
Yep.
So that is what I would.
100%. Because again, okay, I always use the pie analogy. There's only so many pieces of the pie to go around. That's Bitcoin.
We used
Litecoin
yesterday, but yes.
Pie. Yeah, but what we can use is there's only so many bullets. There's a finite supply of bullets, and they've got 41,000 of the Bitcoin bullets, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to use them. I'm not going to tell you when, but we're going to use them." And then you'll forget about it. And then when something's about to crash, they're going to be like, "All right, fire those Bitcoin bullets, put them in there, put them into the system, wound the giant humans," and that's what they'll do. But it's not enough. I mean, when you look at the big scheme of things, when you've got a maximum supply of 21 million and many of them have been lost, people have lost them in hard drives and this and that, gave them away when they were cheap, bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 of them, they didn't have value at the time, not a lot. And so a lot of them have been lost and you're never getting them back.
That's
so
true.
You might have, say, 15 million that can ever exist because so many have been lost. I mean, I think of the Litecoin I've given away and how many people have just changed phones, didn't write that, or wrote down the passphrase, lost it. And you
think of how many times we helped somebody at the bar.
They're laughing about. I remember
do a wallet or whatever.
Mocking. And remember our first meetup in Kansas City. All right, big guy sitting at the bar over to our left. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, give me some." It's like, "All right, here."
Yeah. Write down your seed phrase. Download your wallet.
I sent him some Litecoin. And it's like, does he still have it?
And we'll never see those again.
They're gone. Once he loses that card because he, stumbled out of the parking lot, pulled his keys out and lost his passphrase, it's gone. That Litecoin's never going to exist again. It's there. It's just nobody can access it. It's locked up. He doesn't have a key.
Yeah.
That key's gone. So you think about that and you think about how many there are, and then you think, okay, we've got trillions of dollars in this existing casino that we need to kind of port over into this new one because we know this is like the new gold and silver. These are the things that people are going to hold going into the future. And all our sci-fi movies, where you've got credits and this and that, but there are certain credits that are the elite will hold, or the people that, not everybody has gold and silver. Not everybody has Bitcoin and Litecoin. And going forward, it's going to be harder and harder and harder to get it because there's only so much. And they're making it harder right now because you look at these exchanges, they're gatewaying it all. And they're saying, no more US dollars, no more US dollars, no more US dollars. And pretty soon it's going to be just the sanctioned, authorized, too big to fail banks / exchanges, custodians. And they're going to want you to hold it with them so they can make derivatives out of it. But ultimately it comes down to there's only so much. And if you got some, you won. You already won.
Absolutely.
You've won.
And this is a global thing. This is a global war. We're so America centric, America focused, but the treasury dollars that are all over the world, like we were talking about earlier, once they're saying we're not using the petrodollar anymore, that means all those $100 bills that have been shoved and stored all over the world thinking they were a safe haven, and treasuries that were purchased all over the world, those are all going to start flooding back to the US.
Yep, because nobody's going to hold it anymore.
When that tips, that's our, and Uncle Cliff says, we haven't even begun to see hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is when you have money and you can't wait to get rid of it because when you wake up tomorrow, it's worth less. You're not going to be able to buy as much milk, gas, bread, whatever for your family. And you're trying to just spend it as fast as you can. That's hyperinflation.
Think about this. I talked to somebody today and they've got money in their retirement fund.
Oh, God help them.
I know. And it's do I wait until I'm a certain age to be able to pull it out, or do I just, take a loan against it right now at a higher interest, because the interest rates are up, and do things with it now? What do I do? And you're going to see people start to ask those questions. Okay, I've got $1 million.
Cash it out. And
right.
Why would you not just cash it out, take the
if you
penalty,
can. But
in your
sometimes you can't cash it out, and you're like, okay, I can borrow against it, but I can't cash it out. Okay, well, it's like, then borrow all you can. And my thinking is, well, what's going to happen to you? What if you stop making payments on the loan? It's like a life insurance policy, where you get cash value and you take all the cash out and then you go buy something with it, do something with it, put a metal roof on your house, drill a well, or do something with it that has value going forward, because that system, all the money that's locked up in that system, if you can get it out and do something with it now, I mean, you've got value that you can hold. You put it into Digibyte right now, and it's going to be 5 times, in like 2 months. I mean, something like that.
Yeah, it could happen. The other thing is putting it in precious metals.
Yes, take
you
it,
guys
Andy
can
Schechtman. Get a hold of Andy Schechtman.
Definitely contact.
I got 50 grand. I'm afraid the system's going to take it from me. I got it saved up for my kids and my retirement. What can I do with it right now? Because I don't have any faith in the banking system. Okay. Let's put it in something that's not going to go away, something that's been money for thousands of years.
And really, your local coin dealer may be more likely to. So there was a scenario today. I'll backtrack a little bit. I was out, took the twins for a walk. And,
they're so lovely. I love those little puppies.
I know, they're so sweet. And they did really good.
On with the little handles. Oh my gosh.
I know. Well, because one of them fell in the pool.
So you got to pull them out.
And Charlie
net
ran out there, grabbed her. Then she's like freezing, Anyway, it was a terrifying day. Anyway, so we bought them life vests.
But they can swim. They're fine. Just throw them in there. They'll swim.
They'll get tired, and then they can't get out on the edge.
Your pool's not that big.
They can't get out.
All right, get a grab.
Anyway,
I got you.
So now we have to go out there, and I have to stand there and stare at them. And one of them's very shy when she goes to the bathroom, so she's like, stop staring at me. Yes.
I know.
So then now she started hiding in the bushes to go potty. It's a whole thing. It's just the puppy thing, you guys. Anyway, but I digress.
I love it.
So I was out walking. I thought I'd take the girls for a walk. So got the harnesses. Cannon went with me for like a half a block, and then he's like, I'm out. I'm listening to I listened to your video, listened to Bix, caught Ben this morning. Then I was just on like an auto. I guess I had the autoplay.
And
And so this guy Silver 365 came on, and he's in the UK, and he's talking about, look, I keep hearing how people are saying it's hard to get cash out. So he goes, I thought I'm going to go myself. I'm going to have an experience myself.
Mm-hmm.
And he went, and he's like, I went to my bank, and he said, it's a large bank. It's not a small bank. It's a substantial bank. He said, I've been banking with them over 20 years. And he said, I went and asked for $5,000. And the girl looked at me like I had 5 heads. And then she said, what do you want it for? And he's like,
I'm going to the strip club. I need some cash.
Yeah. And he was like, well, I'm having some work on my house. I need to pay the guy. And she's like, oh, well, we don't have that much here at the bank. And he's like, what do you mean? You look in my account. Yes, I do.
Millions of deposits on reserve.
She goes, well, we don't keep that many like notes here at the bank. Yeah. Well, pounds. I guess I have pounds in the UK. And he was like, it was insane. He goes, so I just told her like just 1,000. She couldn't even give him 1,000. And even then she's arguing with him about why is he paying in cash?
Who are you paying? Illegal immigrants to put your roof on?
And what are you doing this for? Yeah. All of this. And so like that whole narrative about like not being able to get it out, whatever. So he said, you know what was even easier for me? He said, I took some of my physical silver to my local coin shop.
They got cash.
Because there's a rule in the UK that you can, I want to say it's $600. Anybody from UK, please correct me in the chat or in the comments. I can't remember the limits, but there's certain limits where you don't have to report that you sold X number of pounds per day or whatever. But he said it was easier for me to go walk into my local coin shop. And he's like, that I may be my own bank easier during this time because I walk in, I give them my coins, they give me pounds, and I walk out. Nobody asked me questions. Nobody gave me a hard time. I didn't have to stand there and argue with her and her give her manager and then feel like a criminal getting my own money out of the bank. And he was like, it was completely just, insane. So that was a real life experiment that he did.
Yeah, that's the reality of it. All you need to do is watch, and this is why.
And the banks are not failing in the UK; they're failing in the US. So why is that happening in the UK?
They don't have the reserves. They don't have the cash.
Because
there's not enough cash to back it up.
It's all
absolutely. It's all fractional reserve banking. They just need a fraction in reserve to create all this money. And that's what they do. I mean, every bank is insolvent. I had a conversation with the guy. I took one of the digibugs up and had him do some work because I'm like, I'm at a point.
I don't think they're insolvent. I'll argue with you. I'll let you continue, but then
on paper they're not. On paper they're not. But as far as the cash, the cash that you have in there is not there.
Right.
If you want cash back, it's not there.
True
They'll
statement.
transfer the money through the FedNow system in real time. They'll do that. But if you want something physical or physical representation of your energy that's not on a screen, they're insolvent. I mean, because, in the minds of most average Americans who cash, I got this in there. If I want to take out my money, I want to take out my money in cash. I don't want to transfer it over here. I don't want to have a cashier's check. I don't want to have it on digital. They're insolvent as far as cash. Do we agree on that?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
Notes.
Yes. The cash doesn't back it up.
I agree with you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So we're in agreement. So insolvent, probably not, because they can't be insolvent if the freaking Fed's
I had found out that the SVB was taken over.
They took it over and they sold it and they made some whole and some.
I asked Reggie, we did an interview with him for Very Dow, and I said, wait a minute. So, all these talking heads are saying, oh, I ran to JP Morgan with my deposit. And I said, it was just too obvious. And I said, they're trying to make JP Morgan whole, probably to cover all their derivative shorts or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're trying to centralize deposits into like the top 5-6 banks in the US
can be controlled.
Or the biggest bank. And then they're all under their control. And so one of the best things you can do is, in jiu-jitsu, they say sprawl, spread out. Yeah. Don't centralize. Don't put all your power, all your weight in one point, because then you can get flipped. So like one of the best things we can do is to sprawl and make sure that we're all.
Or get some Brazilian jiu-jitsu going and just get on your back and just wait for the attack. At least you know where you're at, and boom, and just
make a plan.
And just kind of play that move.
Fight smart, not hard.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, okay, I got the dogs. Tilly's big, Franny's small. What's Franny do? She'll get on her back. I mean, when Tilly's coming at her and doing this, and she's bigger, she gets on her back and she's like, and then waits for the moment and then grabs her ear or something. And I'm like, well, that's a good move.
Lip.
I mean,
yeah.
but yeah, you've got. Here's how it goes in my mindset and how I've kind of seen things. You've got. No, they're not insolvent because they've got the assets. They've got all these loans, they've got all these treasuries, they've got all these instruments that they have possession of. Okay. But they don't have the physical cash they can give you. But we've got all these things. And so how do you fix that problem? Because it is a problem. If you want your cash, how do you fix those things? They're going to come in and they're going to say, this is in my mindset, okay, fine. Think about, Ben's talked about this a lot, to where everything's going to be tokenized. Your house is going to be tokenized. Your assets are going to be tokenized. Well, all those assets will be tokenized with the CBDC. And so they'll have a CBDC representation. So you got $100 million in treasuries, $100 million in house loans and all this stuff. And so what they'll do is say, well, that house is worth X amount of this, and you can have ownership, and it's all going to be digitized to where each one of those tokens represents a value in a certain asset. And then once you centralize that with a FedNow system to where they can real-time transaction everything, well, hey, you know, I want to take 10% of my house and get cash back. Well, you're not going to get cash back. You'll get a CBDC back that you can spend everywhere.
It's
in
like
real
points.
time.
We'll live in
credits,
Kohl's
digital
cash.
credits. And that's why the sci-fi movies are so important. It's like, oh, you got all these digital credits. Oh, and you're on tier 1 because, you know, you've got this type of credit, you know, as opposed to layer 3, you know, CBDC. It's like preferred stock versus, you know, regular common stock.
Or accredited investor versus retail.
But see, it all rolls into that. And see, you know, I watched.
I mean, they already have us kind of in that system. We're
they
already look at
they just need to lock it up to
laws.
where the cash doesn't become important anymore.
Yeah, they're arresting grandmothers that are going to the Capitol and being, you know, escorted on tours versus, you know, criminals that are doing other things. It's just completely insane to me.
But most people are going to be okay with that as long as they know that, you know, they have some sort of value in that system that they can use. When it doesn't work at the gas pump, that's when people get pissed off. Wait a minute, why doesn't this work? So when they roll us into the CBDC, and tomorrow, the 1st, the Federal Reserve is allowing banks to sign up for FedNow and get their certification.
So that's early. That's been moved up.
No, I mean, it goes live in July.
Okay.
Tomorrow
but they sign up
the window opens, and you can join in and, you know, transfer the value, boom, 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 participate in it, and they're going to have a fee if you want it immediately.
So can they do
just
that
like Venmo
without our permission?
Well, they've already done it. It's already in place. It's already in place. And they just need the banks to get lined up and participate. And because they're still, you know, they do have a little bit of control over the
because as soon as you deposit your money, it's no longer your money.
No, exactly. Once you're in the system, they're the custodians. I mean, and that's why you got NASDAQ being a custodian of crypto. That's why you've got Daddy-O. Who is it? Somebody put it today. I saw it. Who's the other custodian now? Some other bank. They're all going to be custodians of crypto. But hey, you got crypto, we'll hold it for you. And, you know, here's the CBDC.
But it's not
you
crypto.
Can move in and out of it. Well, I mean, you can deposit your Bitcoin.
It's a token.
But yes.
It's not
It's
crypto.
a shit coin. Let's be honest. That's what it is.
But
it's total control. And the narrative that I've seen this week on the news shows, because I watch them, and the politicians, Elizabeth Warren, all these people, oh, you know, and all they talk about is this week, what I've seen the narrative formulating is that, well, SVB Bank, you know, we're in a world now where we have digital access to our funds and anybody can pull out their phone and just move funds out. And, you know, then you got a virtual bank run. And, you know, SVB wouldn't have happened if they had a compliance officer in charge, but they didn't.
But that is not the problem. The bank, people pulling their money out shouldn't be the issue. The issue should be that the money is not there.
Correct. But that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about
issue.
Other things. It's a distraction, just like Trump. It's a distraction to where they say, well, there wasn't a compliance officer. So what they're going to do is say, we got all these banks and we don't know if there's a legitimate compliance officer, you know, and we can't, we watch these banks 24/7 because all the transactions happen in real time. So what we need to do is, you know, this FedNow system that we've rolled out, we can watch this and monitor. And we got AI, we got all this, you know, that we can control. And if you run it all through the FedNow system, then we can immediately know if there's a problem occurring, and we can fix that in real time. And so we're all going to, and they will. And they'll make it right, and because they can just manipulate the code any way they want, and it's programmable money, and they'll get everybody confident. Oh yeah, this does work. Okay, these credits do move. Oh wow, I got it on a Sunday. Holy cow, I got paid on a Sunday instead of waiting for a cashier's check for the car that I was selling. Oh my God, the FedNow system's awesome. Or you can pay in Litecoin, or you can pay in Digibyte. Or you pay in Bitcoin and maybe wait till Monday
without a third party. So what kind of fees are they going to have with FedNow?
Exactly.
Because they will implement all the same fees that they've had in the banking industry. That's how they perpetuate themselves.
Look at Venmo. Have you ever used Venmo?
No, I'm not allowed because I'm a patriot. They won't.
I got you. So you can use, well, I'm on a list, but I'm not on that list. So with Venmo, and I have a daughter who's not on the list yet. She probably will be soon. But you've got Venmo to where you can send cash to somebody, you know, or I'm sorry, within their system. And boom, it shows up in the other person's wallet. Use their handle or tag, boom, send it. All right, paid for a quarter of the dinner that you paid for, and I paid you back. So, but you can transfer money.
You make your daughter pay for dinner.
Yeah, I know, right? She's the one making the money, not me. So you got the looks. Oh, I'm past my prime. Come on, hook your daddy up. So you've got with Venmo, you can send it, and it'll take like up to 1 to 3 days, and it'll show up, and there's no fee. But you can do it immediately, and there's like a 3-4% fee.
Okay, that's PayPal. I do have PayPal, which is the same company.
It's the same concept. Yes, PayPal
that
I'm
able to use.
But that's what the Fed now is going to be like.
They don't know.
Look at that and say, yeah, you can send it, and it'll get there. It'll be faster than it usually is. Maybe 2 or 3 days, or you can send it right now. It's immediate on a Sunday, and it's in your account, and it'll cost you like 2-3%. And people, if they want it there right now, they'll go, boom, okay, fine. Mm-hmm. And so they're going to get their fees. The thing is, you've got networks that work outside of that right now.
Right.
You can send
There's
it with
no
Digibyte
need
Litecoin.
for it.
You don't need it. But most people are just going to not want to have to take that extra leap of, okay, I just don't understand Bitcoin. I don't understand crypto. I don't want to be in possession on my own. I'm afraid to mess things up. And they're going to capitalize on that. They're going to roll you right into it. And it's going to be great at first. It's going to sound great. It's going to work great. It's going to be seamless.
Well,
but
and they'll do some fear thing that they made it all better for you. Like Absolutely. We'll have an EMP or a nuclear event.
Problem,
or a
reaction,
hack.
Solution. Same old bullshit.
Same story, second verse. And they will solve it for you. They'll come. I'm from my thumbnail from yesterday. I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan said the most 9 dangerous words in the English language, and that's what I believe will happen. I thought it was going to be years ago with that Facebook hack when they got all of our information from the Facebook hack. I was like, oh, here we go. They're going to say it was the Facebook hack. They have all our information. And that's why all of our bank accounts got hacked. Then I saw the solar flares. I thought, oh, perfect excuse. It's Mother Nature. It's global warming.
Well, now it's the BRICS nations.
Climate crisis.
It's Russia and China.
Yeah.
Look,
it's always got to be Russia's fault. Yeah.
They're
Russia.
With this BRICS,
yes.
and they're trying to.
Yes.
They can use any excuse they want because they own the media. And it comes to a point when Cliff said this in his data. People who are working for the dollar, they're like, why am I not getting paid? And if I get paid, it's just like you said, it's like, wait a minute, I got to spend this money like right now because it's garbage and it just keeps inflating in price every day.
Or they can't feed their family with what they are. And was it Weimar, Germany, where they would go with wheelbarrows and they would dump the money out and sell the wheelbarrow?
There you go. Yes.
That had more value.
Litecoin Underground did a good chart on that. He looked it up to where it took about 18 months before you had a stable currency to where it was just absolutely worthless. I mean, when we say worthless, I mean, you got $10 million and it doesn't buy you anything. Nothing.
Let's remember we're in a digital world though.
It can happen.
Everything
right
is
now.
Expedited. So if it's 18 months, then it's probably a month and a half now. It's
real time right now. See, that's the threat that they keep harping on with this SVB bank, to where it's like, oh my God, the rumor spread on Wednesday, and then by Friday they were completely drained of $42 million or something, billion. And so that's what they're saying. It's like, this is a dangerous situation, with this digital, real time stuff. And so they'll roll you into, we got control of this. The Fed now has got it. And I mean, it's just so blatantly obvious if you've been paying attention. But to the normal people, and I had this conversation today with someone who fixed the Digibug. Took my guy I went to grade school with. He's a mechanic. Took it. And
I'm so glad you took it to somebody.
I know, because
I have to drive it sometimes.
Because I got to drive it, come April 20th, 21st to get to Oklahoma City to get to the meetup. So I got to make sure that thing's, Anyway, he's like, I said, I'm paying cash. How much I got to bring you? This is right before the storm occurred, So again, no coincidences. Get the cash there, get it done before the storm. And so I paid him in cash, and I gave him a silver Litecoin, 1 ounce of silver Litecoin, and a 1 ounce copper Litecoin, just as a tip, in addition to the cash. And he's like, oh, what's this? And I gave him the card, with the little QR code. And I said, man, the banks, I don't trust them. And he says, oh, you're into crypto. And he's like, oh, man. And I said, yeah, I mean, because I don't trust the banks. He's like, yeah, I got my money in a credit union, but I don't even know if that's safe anymore. So people are understanding that. This is somebody that doesn't own silver and gold, does not own it. And I mean, you know, the knowledge, the sense that something is wrong is there, that banks could collapse and all my money could be gone. And I said, you know, hey, this is just a couple of ways to get it out of the system. You know, you got gold, you know, and here's silver, and here's a copper coin, and here's some information on Bitcoin, Litecoin. You know, if you got any questions, let me know, you know, because I don't trust these vampires. And he's like, yeah, I know. So, I mean, people get it. It's just they don't know what to do about it. They don't know how to.
Where do they
get out of
go?
it.
I mean, but that's the thing. Like, you guys scrolling across the bottom is how you email Andy at info@milesfranklin.com to get your
That's
silver.
one way out.
Tell him Litecoin Lisa sent you. You can also go to my website, litecoinlisa.net. You can request a class that's me and Westwood will show up on a Saturday for you and help teach you with a one-on-one Zoom class, or not one-on-one, whoever shows up in the class, but it's a live class,
2-on-1,
interactive.
2-on-20, doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Ask any questions you want of us. You know, we're yours.
Yeah,
you know,
we're there to help you guys through this.
Educate.
And there's another great resource, which is the Pebbleton Post. They're in the chat right now, and they're building resources. They have great interviews on their website and on their channel. You guys can check them out. So make sure you go over there and check all that stuff out as well.
Yeah, I mean, these are people that we've all met, that we've all been drawn into crypto for whatever reason, from our different pasts and different experiences, but we've all found something that makes sense. Don't know why it made sense, but it did. And then when we met the people who were like into it, and then we start talking and we start understanding, yeah, okay, we all get it. We're all on the same page. You know, we saw the light there in the darkness, that lighthouse that was crypto that called us in, and we're no longer wandering boats. You know, we're not going down with the Titanic. You know, we broke away from that, and we're kind of like, okay, now what? Where we got to be, you know? And crypto has kind of led us to that moment. That's just one tool, economic tool in this war that we're in. I mean, and it really is. And it can be a war where no shots are fired. It's just a war where we just say, listen,
education, information, yes, and choices. War. And like Johnny said, they can keep making all the rules for typewriters they want. And we're going to choose something different. We're going to build something else. One of the things I would love to do sometime, I need to send a message to my buddy over there at Crypto Experiences by St. Jerome. He just did a couple different videos. He went to a coin show.
Yep.
And he educates. And this is so smart. So he goes to the coin show and talks about crypto.
He's got a table there. He's got some coins. He's got some Ballet wallets. He's got
because those are like-minded people that want to hold their assets in their own possession. And so it's really smart. I think it's really brilliant. He's doing some other stuff.
We're all about freedom. Yeah. We're all about individual sovereignty. We're all about, constitutional government. We're all about what America, the ideal that we're taught in grade school, that's what we're all here for. And then we start realizing, wait a minute, these people running the show aren't following the playbook. They're not reading from the same book. And so those people are already somewhat awake in their own way. And gun shows would be another thing. I mean, people that realize, hey, I need to have control of my life and be able to defend my life. I need to be able to have things that, that are important. And I've always been important. And that mindset, that thinking of freedom, that freedom-oriented person, those are the people that you can have the discussion with. And you just start talking. That's all you do. And you'd be surprised how many people know something's wrong. They just don't understand, what do I do? What am I supposed to do? And
what are my options? Where do I go? What does that mean? What's the outcome? All of that.
And so you share this video. You send them to Litecoin Lisa's Patreon. You send them to the Pebbleton Post. You send them to the Road to Ruta. You send them to Bitcoin Benz. I mean, you people that have been talking about this for years, and
And get them to come to meetups.
You go to this meetup.
We're having we're going to have a happy hour live on 4/21 in Oklahoma City. And then the very next day, we're doing the Team Mighty event, Dancing for Joy, where Mame just sent me today one of her contributions, one of her donations for the auction, where she's made an NFT. If you buy a ticket to the event, you will receive an NFT. There's a couple different ways. You can either buy the NFT, which is linked in the description of this video. If you do that, you have a ticket to the event, and you will show me your address, and I'll know you bought the NFT, and you can come on in. But you can also go to Eventbrite, which is in the link to this description of this video. You buy a ticket, and then that will give us your email address, where we'll send you information on how you can receive your NFT. But this is one of the auction items that Mame did. She created a piece of artwork, and you guys see, let's see, behind me, these two pieces of artwork she did. And I bought those in Utah at an auction for another event, but this is another one. She's getting into watercolors, and so this is one of her first watercolors, and this will benefit.
And just so you know, Lisa, last week when you posted her Litecoin address, when I said, hey, put your Litecoin address in.
Yeah.
I couldn't copy it from the paste, or copy it and put it.
Oh.
I don't know what was going on. So if you would if you could put it on your website, or maybe post it in there.
I'll
because I wanted to send some donation, but I couldn't do it, and I was like,
yeah.
It's just technical stuff. I mean, and if we have a QR code, if you put the address out there to where I can copy it, I don't want to type it in because I'll type it in wrong.
Yeah, I'll make so in my,
if you put it on your website,
CoinLisa.net and go to what's new, that's my blog post. I'll create a blog post
and put her address in there to where we can send her a Litecoin donation.
Okay. So you can make a donation directly to Mame. She did have a health issue last Friday and was hospitalized again, but hopefully she did message me that she's recovering from that. So she'll be able to join us virtually at the event, and she's very excited about it.
I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna outbid y'all on all this stuff. So you better get there and say I beat Westwood.
Yeah, and the Pebbleton Post is helping with all our audio visual, and also helping with the auction and some other things. So Paige and Josh will be here. Bix and Amy will be here. We'll have Bitcoin Ben here. Johnny's gonna be here. Westwood's gonna be here.
You're gonna have all the crypto.
Yeah.
Peeps.
Jim and Tom and Mark Weems are coming. I need to look and see who else is coming that's bought tickets. I have about a dozen people or so that last time I checked that had bought tickets already as well. On the
and just buy the ticket. If you can't make it, you can't make it. You know what? It's a donation.
If you buy a ticket, I will send you a link to view the live stream live. So if you aren't able to physically be at the event, then you'll have a private live stream to the event, because that we just want as much support as we can for Mame, and to honor my daughter Mia, and to honor Joy, and we're going to be telling her story as well. So it's going to be it's the perfect time to be doing this, focusing on family and love, celebration, life, all the positive things. So you guys get there and do
just go follow Litecoin Lisa on TikTok, and she'll have
not on TikTok. You'll never find me on TikTok.
The Restrict Act.
I'm not there. Yes, the Restrict. Speaking of which, Johnny and I were talking about the Restrict Act. Typically when they do these kind of things, it's like the Patriot Act. They call it one thing, but then they're actually doing something else.
We're going to restrict China.
But they are really restricting with this Restrict Act.
They are going to restrict you.
They're restricting you.
Your ability.
Yes. Yeah,
and they don't want free speech. And to put censorship in the hands of the executive branch is just an anathema to everything that is American. I mean, it totally violates the Constitution. And now I'm not saying that TikTok's good. Not at all. I'm not saying that Twitter's good. Has it gotten better? Probably. I'm not saying that any of these platforms are good. But the thing is, you're going to ban that one, but you're going to allow all the other ones. Is Microsoft good for all the stuff they put? What do they collect? On
Gmail,
every computer.
Right.
I mean, right. I mean, so you look at all that stuff and they're not going to ban that stuff. No. What are they going to do? They're going to say, well, you guys are using VPNs to use an exchange that is no longer, in the United States purview, and you're going to try and trade crypto. So we're going to fine you $250,000 and put you in jail for 20 years. I mean, see, these are the kind of things that they're going to do with this legislation. And that's just not, let the free market decide. And you know what? We all make mistakes. We all do things, and we all sign up for platforms and, this and that. And they maybe they're watching us, everything we do, your phone. I mean, how many times have you had an ad come up to where you're talking about something? Next thing you know, it's like, oh, there's an ad for that I was just talking about. It never come up before.
No, it's insane.
Oh, how did they know that? I mean, so they're listening and monitoring everything you're doing right now.
Judge Torres is trending. That's the XRP judge, isn't it?
Is
Torres? It? I believe so. I'll click
Do you want to talk about XRP a little bit? Because I can talk
We
about
can in just a sec. I want to bring this up really quick. The El Salvador president just officially signs a bill eliminating all taxes of income, property, and capital gains for technology innovations.
And what's technology and innovation?
Bitcoin, unlike
Bitcoin.
What is the opposite that is happening in the U.S.?
Right.
The U.S. is stifling innovation.
We don't want innovation. We want to control
which actually goes against the Hobbs Act. That's actually a federal offense to stifle innovation in America. But no one's holding them accountable for that.
Well, hopefully that does happen. But we have to hold them accountable. We have to say no.
Right.
We have to say, listen, this is not under your control. And the dog needs a chew. Here you go. There you go.
Okay, let's see what's happening with Judge Torres. Judge Annalise Torres, the most important person in crypto. I don't know about that, but I believe Reggie Middleton might have her beat. But she will go down as history and legend. XRP, breaking. Oh, this is February 23rd.
Breaking.
2 hours ago. Okay, hold on. Here, let's see what John Deaton has to say. There's a huge misunderstanding on crypto Twitter and YouTube. Only motions that have been pending more than 6 months must be reported on a list to Congress. The 6-month list does not apply to Judge Torres' summary judgment ruling because the motion has been pending for a little over 3 months. So, more FUD. Wah, wah. Okay. This is why you have to look this up. You also have to know who to listen to. John Deaton is Marine. He's amazing attorney, lawyer, brilliant mind. He's fighting for the people, and I would definitely listen to what he has to say. I'm not a big fan of XRP. You guys know that. However,
well, I mean, there's a big, since it is IS 20022 compliant,
right?
And if you watch the little videos that the Fed now, the promotional videos, and how it's an IS 20022 message that gets sent to this bank and this bank. And when I was watching the little video, I'm like,
it is messaging.
And then I look at it and then I say, okay, so this person has to talk to this person, that person, that person, that person, that person. And I'm like, there's still all these middlemen. And it's like, I can do this with Litecoin right now. Why do I need some?
Right.
It's all they're trying to do is reinvent it. And I use this in my analogy today in the video that I did, to where it's like there's a show on Netflix. It's called Altered Carbon, and we're all carbon, and so it's altered carbon. And so you've got this stack, your consciousness is implanted in the back of your neck in the show, and it can carry on forever if you have money, because when you die, they just pluck the little thing out. It's like a chip. Put it into a new body. It's how much can you afford for the new body? It can be the same as the old body. And you can just keep living and living like a vampire. And and so that consciousness gets transferred. And pretty soon you almost become godlike. And some of these people do, because they've lived so long and seen so much that they never die, essentially. Their essence gets carried on into the physical world. So I see that as the same thing that's happening right now with the old system. These vampires, what they want to do is take that stack and put it into a new sleeve. That's what they call the bodies, the sleeves. They want to put it in this new sleeve and just essentially, hey, this is a better sleeve. It's faster, it's quicker. We can do all these things. It's more efficient. And that's how they're going to paint it. But it's still the same old person. It's the same old mentality, the same old mindset that they're just trying to extrapolate. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. That's essentially what they're doing right now. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't care, if that thing, that helps that whole system to work makes money. I'm not in it for that. I'm in it to be out of that. I don't want to be in the vampire system anymore. I want to be exclusively out of it. And I want to be decentralized. I don't want to be a part of that anymore. And so that's why I look at the pure blockchains that have taken work and effort. And my God, is it going to go to zero? Is it going to continue to work? Well, Litecoin's been running for over 11 years uninterrupted. Digibyte's been running for over 9 years uninterrupted. And I look at those things.
Has Litecoin been running longer than Bitcoin uninterrupted at this point?
Bitcoin had a reset early on, so I'm not sure what the time frame is I
thought I had heard that at this point Litecoin's running longer.
Litecoin has never been stopped. It's always worked. Bitcoin had an issue. Ethereum had an issue. I mean, that was a big issue to where they just said, F it, we're just going to reverse the chain. So that's centralized. I mean, but with Litecoin you can't do that. Digibyte hasn't done that either. And so it's always been running since day one. So everybody's had an equal opportunity to hop in and say, hey, I see value in this. And if you see value early enough, you benefit more than other people. I mean, you just do. And it's like Bitcoin. If you saw it early enough, you'd benefit more than other people. 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. Now you can buy the whole frickin' Papa John's, company, with 10,000 Bitcoin as opposed to 2 pizzas. And so if you see it early enough and you're like, okay, I get it. Not everybody gets it right away, but it's there for you to, basically the free market decides, is it going to have value or not? And if you get into it early enough and you say, this has value and you see it coming, then you win. I'm telling you right now, you still have a chance to win. If you continue to participate in this vampire system, no matter what form, what shape it takes, no matter what skin sleeve it embeds itself into, you're going to lose. Because they control it all, because it's centralized. I mean, get outside the system. And that's why they have such a problem with these cryptocurrencies. And they can't, the SEC says everything's a security. The CFTC says everything's a commodity. The government itself can't figure out because they don't know what to do with this stuff because it's not they can't control it. And they know that. So they got to use the fear and, let's dump some Bitcoin here when SVB crashes. And, let's put the price of Bitcoin down and scare people out of it so they can get control over it because they know they're going to need control over those assets, those sound assets. It's no different than silver right now with the derivatives and with the, the COMEX and all that BS. It's about taking possession of it and having control over it. You've got the ability to take control of those assets, that energy that you put into it. Nobody can take that away. Doesn't matter what the price in dollars is because they make all that up.
So will it break? I mean, do they have so much, they have so much Bitcoin that they're dumping on the markets now to keep Bitcoin stifled, keep it down. It is still rising. People are still running
that's
to those.
They have to control because that kind of marks the market,
Right.
I mean, that's the big dog.
Will silver and gold break?
Ultimately, it has to because it's just the market will decide. And when enough people, it's at $24 right now, which is way undervalued, but you're seeing the market starting to wake up. You're starting to see people say, I need to get this. I need to have this. And again, there's only so much of that to go around. Yeah, you can mine more. Maybe it comes out at 3% a year, 4% a year inflation rate. Doesn't matter. If you have it, you have it. When the banks close and there's no way to transact and they say, we're going to reopen and you got to use this system, you either choose to use that system and have faith that they're going to do the right thing, which they've never done, or you can say, it's time for me to kind of get out of this. And, it's a choice. Ultimately.
Did you see the video that we did, I think on Monday with Pebbleton Post?
I couldn't watch it. I saw it come up and
the Public Awakenings mom You guys know her as Nancy.
Yep.
Ice Nan. She is in the chat a lot. She sent him some information from the U.S. Mint. And so we went to the Mint and saw it. And it was showing everything was out of stock except the 2023s. And the 2023s showed proof coins at $80 an ounce for silver and 2,000 something, almost $3,000 for gold proof coins. And that's like what they had available. It's very interesting. And so that to me could be like the reset price. But then you go to AppMex and they did have AppMex had different
as long
prices.
as you can buy it through
Somewhere
those
else.
exchanges, you know, through AppMex, through whatever, then take the gift, you know.
Yeah.
Get it. Again, my video Monday, I don't want to be an alarmist. I just feel that we're here. I just feel that this is the time to where I've seen so much and so many things happening, and I've seen foreign governments just basically disconnecting from the dollar system, the Western established system, that, I mean, in this quick moving digital world, it can go overnight, over a weekend. I mean, it can just be gone. And if you've got your energy locked up into that system and they just decide to do whatever they want with it and rename it and call the gold in, so to speak, like Roosevelt did,
The show was on Wednesday.
then they can revalue it. So just have your value in things that you can control. And if you have that, then, you know, I can go to my buddy and say, hey, I need this thing fixed on Digibug, you know, what can I pay you with? Well, I don't want anything that goes into my bank account because I'm not going to be able to get it out. It's getting inflated. Right. You know, what can you give me? And at that point, it's like, hey, here's a silver coin. Hey, here's some copper. Hey, here's some Litecoin. Boom. And he's like, okay, I'm good. You know, he uses his energy, his labor to fix my stuff. And then he can use that to go do something else with it and buy food from the neighbor.
That's where I see the bartering coming in so much.
Yeah.
Whether it's honey fixing something, you know, helping your neighbor with something, I'll mow your lawn, you feed my
whatever
kid,
you need. Right.
Whatever. Yeah.
No, exactly. And I mean, it goes back to what we started.
That brings community together.
The community has, you know, it's not that we're, you know, in the same encampment like we were in the early days, you know, hunter-gatherers. It's like, okay, we've got this intermediary means of exchange, because you didn't need it then, because you're all like in close proximity and you're all living together and you wake up together and it's like, okay, what do we need to do today? You know, in that case, it's like, okay, that still maintains a structure of society, you know, to where, okay, that person's 10 miles over, that person's over this way. We're not living together, but I need something of value that I can hold in my hand, you know, or in my wallet, whatever it is, that I can use, you know, 10 miles that way, because that person does that over there. You know, that person grows the food that way. That person fixes the cars over there. That person does this over here. Hey, that guy's got barrels of gas over there. He can tank me up. I mean, you need some method to exchange, rather than saying, okay, let me take this 5-gallon gas over there because he needs gas, and then he's got eggs, so I'll take that and I'll take it over to this guy. You know, you don't need that. You need something that bridges that gap, a form of sound money that the dollar doesn't serve anymore, which it should, but it doesn't. If it were a real dollar made out of silver, constitutional, then it would, but it doesn't. So you need something that you can transact in, to where they're like, okay, cool, it showed up, the blockchain verified, I got my Litecoin, cool, here are your eggs, I can go over here, I need that gas, all right, cool, take my gas. You know, you need something like that, because
you know what that makes me think of is Miss Teen Crypto. You know, we grew up trusting people, trusting checks, trusting our bank, trusting that things
I went
were,
to grade school with this guy, you know, he's like, I'll pay me Monday, no problem.
And a check is going to clear. And
it all works.
Trust our
until
banks
it doesn't.
And all those things. And I remember her going out, and, you know, she would go out and do these interviews in like Times Square or wherever in Manhattan or wherever she is in New York. And she was talking to people her age and around her age. And she was like, why do you use, what do you use to exchange with your friends, whatever? And most of them were like PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, that kind of stuff. And she was like, well, why do you do that? And they said, well, because I don't have to trust that they're giving me, you know, fake dollars. So I guess they've all experienced like
Yeah, they
counterfeit
know
money.
They know it.
That wasn't a real thing to me growing up. I didn't experience counterfeit money, or if I did, I have no clue, so that wasn't a thing to me. But maybe when you grow up in a big city, like that's a real thing to them. So they're like, oh no, we don't want. And it was the trust issue. It was all about trusting, not having trustless transactions.
Mm-hmm.
And they trusted PayPal. They trusted Venmo.
Yeah, because it's always worked for them until it doesn't. And those things are still. See, the thing is with Cash App, if you go in there, you can get a direct deposit and there's a routing number, Fold the same way. There's a bank behind it that clears it all. And so Cash App, because it's immediate. Oh, I sent, my daughter needs, hey, I'm at the store. I need this. Okay, here's $25. I can send it via Cash App and it shows up. Mm-hmm. But their Cash App is like settling it, even though behind the scenes, and Johnny can explain this better, behind the scenes, it really isn't settling for maybe a couple of days, but they're like, okay, we've got enough funds to be able to settle it internally between person to person on the platform. But ultimately underlying it is a bank. And so if the banks stop trusting each other, Cash App's not going to work and Venmo's not going to work and PayPal's not going to work. What will work, though, is cryptocurrency, because what's behind it is the network, is the blockchain, and it settles immediately. 2.5 minutes for a block of Litecoin, 15 seconds for Digibyte, 10 minutes for Bitcoin. If you send enough fees, it could be a lot longer if you don't, but it all settles and it will always settle. And it's just that they already understand that. And as long as those systems work, that's what they want. They want real-time transactions. But once they fail, which they will, when the banks don't have confidence in each other anymore, because that's what happened in 2008. The banks lost confidence in each other. And they're not, nope, I ain't sending my money over there. I don't know if you guys, I don't know. And so the government steps in and fixes it. And it's like, okay, but at what cost? And the cost is massive inflation. Can't afford to buy a house. I mean, anybody her age, they can't buy a piece of property. I mean, it's untouchable because it's just inflated with fake money. But when you have a real system of value, it's like, hey, there's only 84 million. You got one of them? You're one of 84 million, and there's 8 billion people. So you're kind of way ahead.
Kind of crazy. So I'm scanning through Johnny's Twitter feed. This is new to me. EU Parliament voted to ban cash payments over £7,000 and anonymous crypto payments over £1,000. Good luck with that. And then Sasha Holder, who I've just started following this lady. She's a really intelligent attorney. She has a podcast and she tweets a lot, which I love. She says, if the dollar loses its
fill up that feed, baby.
I know, I love it. She's got a lot to say. Smart girl. If the dollar loses its world reserve status, the stock market will crash. Listen why. Almost half of American stocks are owned by foreigners, and they will be looking to exit the dollar. We're already seeing that. Back here, okay, hold on. Watch this. Breaking. Asia finance ministers, central banks to consider dropping the US dollar, British pound, euro, and yen, and move to settlements in local currencies. So it's all happening. They're leaving the US dollar. That's going to affect the stock market. The stock market will crash next. There goes the pensions. There goes
everything, because
all these things that are backed by other things. Everything's backed by something else instead of having an asset in your possession
that's backed by nothing other than the asset itself. The code itself and crypto backs it. The code backs it. The math backs it. I mean, it's a constitution. Bitcoin has a white paper. It has a constitution, the code. It says 21 million. That's it. You got 19 million that exist. They're out there in the market. And then you got Space Force coming in saying, well, there's less than 2 million out of the 21 million available, and we're going to start mining now. I mean, how valuable are those 19 million that already exist in the market? Pretty freaking valuable. I mean, if they're trying to chase after 2 million that exist, for the next 100 years. I mean, and that's the other thing. You can't take cash to space. You can't make change, when you go to some colony, in Mars or wherever it is. I mean, you need digital money that is validated. I mean, you think about the future. Think about the future. You know, it's like Joker and Batman. You need to think about the future. And that's really what it is. If you think about where the future is going to be, if you want a George Jetson world and, you know, the flying RVs and all this stuff, you're going to be carrying cash around. You're going to be hauling gold and silver around. No, you're not. You need to hold something that everybody understands what it is and how many there are. And when you get one of them, you know you've got a piece of that pie. And I've got, you know, one slice of that 84 million. Or that 21 billion or that 21 million. I've got a slice of that. And I know in comparison to everybody else how much that is. It's math. I know we don't understand math in the US anymore, but it's math. That's all it is.
Here's the other thing. We've seen this on exchanges, but this is the first time I'm seeing this. Johnny's getting warned. He made a deposit at his bank. And he's getting warned about a potential 5-day hold.
Yeah.
No coincidences in the banking system. They'll manipulate us to the end. Move your dollars, money into Bitcoin and Litecoin so that you have final settlement in either 10 minutes Bitcoin or 2.5 minutes Litecoin. Ultimately, it's about who's in control of your assets. And who do you have to ask permission to move your value. Remember what we teach when we go on the road, and we do our classes, whether it's online, go to litecoinlisa.net, schedule a class. Westwood and I will meet you there. Or you can meet us on the road in Oklahoma City at a meetup or otherwise. When we talk about what money is a store of your labor or your
energy
to be used at another time.
Yep.
And when you put that in something in a store that someone else controls, you're having to ask permission to use it, and somebody else can be making derivatives out of it. So
you gave your soul to the company store.
Yeah.
They got you locked in. You got to play in their market. You got to get it from the company store, and they're going to mark it up, and they're going to do whatever they want. Well, today, you know, that cotton is how much money, you know, or that bottle of whiskey is how much. Well, tomorrow it might be double. Well, what are you going to do? Well, I need it, so I guess I'll pay it.
And when you're getting paid from the same store that you're shopping at, that's when they've got you. That's what, that's what Tyson, all those big
they lock you up.
Done. They've just made people slaves.
They want total control. They want to own it all. They want to own your soul. And that's really what it is. Your energy. They want to take your energy, milk it away like a vampire. They want to take it and they want to control it. They want to do whatever they want. They want to convince you that they're the anointed ones, that they're the elite, that they're the pharaoh. They want to, it's going on forever. Yeah. And now we've got an opportunity to say no.
Now it's the end. And now we have something else to choose. So I agree with
you either make the decision. Yep. You make the choice. And that's where we're at right now. You make the choice, and you might only have 3 months to make that choice.
I don't think you have that long, but to each their own. Everybody be personally responsible for your health, your wealth, and your personal safety. Now's the time to do it. Check out litecoinlisa.net and clintwestwood.net to get more resources and information. Join us in Oklahoma City. We're going to have a great time, and we want to see you guys there. So we'll be on Twitter Spaces later tonight. Follow at all caps clintwestwood.net _ on both sides, or at Lisa Mighty Davis to find us. You can also join my Patreon, and I will be streaming that live for patrons and putting their questions or comments in. I'll be speaking for them and asking them.
We'll be talking about all this stuff that we don't talk about right now. We'll really go down that hole.
Yes. All right. Love to you all. Take care.
Trust
love
yourselves.
To the Freedom Fam. And we will see you guys tonight. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Get a little extra. Make sure your cars are all gassed up. Get a little extra water and food.
A little extra vitamin D from the sun. Soak that energy up. That's it. Feel good.
Yeah, all the good
stuff. Trust
stuff.
yourselves.
America's not the government, people. The America is you. It is the Grand fucking Canyon. the Rocky Mountains, the deserts of the Southwest, the Pacific fucking Ocean, the Atlantic fucking Ocean. It is the grandest continent. And what the fuck have you people done? You have turned yourself into sheep, every goddamn one of you.